Hello and welcome to Cake. Today I'm going to show you how I created this 3-tiered decorative Easter cake dummy to give you some inspiration for your Easter cakes. Besides this, I've prepared a few decorative fondant cupcake toppers for Mother's Day, birthdays, and you're not going to want to miss those. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do so to not miss out on those super cute videos coming up. Let's get started with this cake. For the base layer, I've combined some bright green fondant with white fondant to give me more of a pastel tone. As I mentioned, this is a dummy cake, so I'm rolling this over my cake dummy, which I've covered with corn syrup to make the fondant stick. I've repeated the same process for the middle layer, combining some pink with white to give me more of a pastel tone. And then repeated the same process for the top layer, which is a light blue color. To decorate the base layer, I've rolled out a bunch of different sized cones out of the green fondant, the same fondant as before, in various shapes and lengths. Then I pressed some leaves and cut some veins into them. And then I attached the grass around my cake with just a little bit of water. And that's a pretty quick process. It looks like it takes a long time, but it's actually a very easy way to add beautiful decoration to a fun Easter cake. Then I attached the leaves also with some water. And then I gave it a little bit more of a three-dimensional feel by pulling out some of the grass and curving it around. I rolled out a pretty thin layer of white fondant and cut out 2 different sizes of daisies. And then I attached the smaller one on top of the bigger one to give it more of a cute look. I rolled some small yellow balls and attached that to the center of the daisies, also with some water. Now, if I were to do this over again, I would attach the daisy flower to the grass right away rather than waiting for the grass to be attached and then applying the flower. So that's a tip for you in case you decide to recreate this. Then out of the same white fondant, I cut out various shapes of clouds. I pretty much just created random different sizes and shapes, and then I rolled it out to smooth out the edges to give it more of a cloudy, fluffy feel. With just a little bit of water, I attached the clouds to the top layer of the cake. Using just a little bit of orange fondant, I rolled some cones. These are going to be my Easter carrots for my Easter bunnies. And then out of even smaller portions of green fondant, I also created some cones and cut into it with scissors to give it more of a leafy look. Then I poke a hole on the thicker side of the cone, of the orange cone, and cut some stripes into it with a toothpick and roll it out to smooth it a little bit. And then with some water, I attach the green leaf to the orange fondant, making it look like a carrot. To create the clouds for the rainbow, I rolled a bunch of different sized white balls and then I squeeze it together to make sure it attaches. Using all of the same colors that I've used in the cake, I rolled out a bunch of pieces of fondant and stuck them together in the order in which I think a rainbow would be, and then rolled it out to flatten it out and curved it to give it a rainbow look. You're going to have to make sure that this dries for at least 3 to 4 hours so that it holds its shape when you place it on top of the cake. But that's pretty much all I did to create my rainbow. And then I'm going to finalize the first layer by applying the daisies. So as I mentioned, if I were to do this over again, I would apply the daisies to the longer pieces of grass beforehand and let that dry before applying it to the cake. So that's just a tip for you in case you decide to recreate this. For the middle layer, I decided to create a little bit more decoration by rolling out small Easter eggs and applying that to the middle layer. And then I'm going to bring everything together. So I'm just placing the middle layer on top of the first layer. If this were a real cake, I would be pushing some straws into the first layer. And then I've created some bunnies. So There's a really great instructional video on YouTube on how to create these bunnies, and I will link those below for you. Then I'm placing the carrots around my bunnies and placing my cloudy layer on top of the middle layer. And finally, my rainbow. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know by giving this video a thumbs up. And as I mentioned, I have some really great, cute, creative ideas coming up for Mother's Day and birthday. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on those ideas. Thank you for watching and see you next time.